everybody. How is everyone doing? This is Michael here. This is Michael from I Love Real Estate, Knowledge Source, the whole community with Dymphna as well. So today, it's Friday. It's just going on 12 o'clock and we have a success story, an I Love Real Estate success story for you for this Friday at lunchtime. So today we've got a really interesting story. I've mentioned before, I'm going to mention it again. The community just blows me away with how amazing some of these people are. And today is going to be a really insightful and really interesting because it's a very, very different story from someone who's started off from joining the community without even being in Australia. Like, what do you do and how do you actually get going from there? It's like, and the obstacles that she's overcome to do extremely well. And there's a whole lot of things that she won as well. But look, I don't want to give too much away. So what I think we should do is get going and let's introduce Natasha. Natasha, hey, welcome to today's session. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story. How you doing? Are you ready?
Very welcome. Yes, I am ready. And it's Friday, everybody.
It's
Friday.
It's what? Fry what?
Friday.
Oh, oh, Friday.
Yeah, there you
go. Okay. Everyone in Zoom, can you please do a fry? Yay! Yay! Ah, there we go. We've got a few. Awesome. Excellent. Well, look. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. This is and you've got a really interesting story. So I want to see if we can, if you're happy to share, that'd be awesome. Okay, now let's just check. Oh, okay, we're all good to go. Okay, so let's get into it. When did you? I mean, well, actually, what was the situation before you joined the community? Where were you at, and what was going on for you? And before you actually joined and found out about Dipnut.
So before when I joined, we were living in Jakarta, Indonesia. We had done some property deals before we went overseas and lost quite a substantial amount of money on those. We knew that we didn't want to negatively gear, as we were being told from our professionals to buy properties, negatively gear them. So we knew that wasn't the right way, but we didn't really know the right way. So the properties that we bought pre-Dymphna really hurt us, lost a substantial amount of money. So we were expats overseas, and we had two properties that were negatively geared. One was a PPR and one was just a standard 4x2 little house block. So that was us pre I Love Real Estate.
That was you, hey? All right. And what was life like over there? I mean, like, was it difficult to live where you were living, or was it kind of okay? I mean, like, I don't know what it would be like to live over there. Was that all?
It was okay when we first moved. So we spent a few years on the Borneo island of Indonesia, which was great. We were kind of secluded there. It was a small little town, but the week we moved to Jakarta, Zane was somewhere else in Asia, and it was where all the Starbucks were bombed in Jakarta. It was our first week there. The school went into lockdown. Here I am having no idea what to do, where to go. We had security at the house. We had a driver that could barely speak English. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. It was a great experience and we would never want to take that away, but just limited to certain things. And so it was a great experience, but at some point we wanted to come home.
It sounds a little bit intense.
Yeah.
A little bit intense. Wow. Okay. So so what happened? I mean, like, obviously, like you joined up with Dipnut. How did that happen? How did you find out about her? Because you're obviously overseas.
Yeah. So you know, typical real estate lover, scrolling realestate.com, looking at, you know, real estate porn, and a little commercial ad came up and said, you know, click here to sign up for our free webinar. I think it was an evening webinar, a couple of hours or something, and you know, learn. And I watched a little Dymphna on there saying, would you like to invest in property and make money and do it all the right ways? And I was like, hell yeah. So I signed up for the webinar and watched the webinar, and I was like, where do I sign up? At the end of that webinar, I was like, yep, this is me. So that's how I found Dipnut, and yeah, I signed up for the ultimate program. I did actually ring Zane, and I don't know whether I told him after or, you know, told him before, but I was signed up and ready to go. Then yeah, so then I got into the work, which was difficult in itself, where we were.
Yeah, actually tell us about that, because for those of you who don't know, I mean, obviously, you know, Natasha's there overseas with a family and having to go through the material without access to coming to the live boot camps like you'd usually have. I mean, it's different now because we're doing a lot of stuff online, but before that we only had the boot camps actual live. You could come along. We didn't stream them live. So, so what did you do? How did you, because there was a few difficulties there, wasn't there?
Yeah. So I think I reached out to you because I was having a lot of difficulty logging in, and I could log in, but the videos weren't working. So I'd click on a video, it'd open up and it'd just be a blank screen. And, you know, and there were only certain times that I could get on because the electricity would go down for hours at a time. You know, that was a couple of days, every couple of days the electricity would go out and we'd have no electricity, and the internet would be on and off. But I realized after, you know, quite a few weeks of trying to figure out what this issue was that it wasn't allowing, like, the Indonesia itself wasn't allowing the stream to happen. So I had to make up an IP address basically and learn all of that techie side, and, you know, run an IP somewhere else in the world every time I logged on, which yeah, was interesting.
So that's how you were able to actually learn. You had to get a separate IP address to actually even just watch the material. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So challenges just to even log on. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember getting a call actually, and it was like, Michael, we've got someone who's a student from Jakarta. Can you help them out? And I'm like, I'm not too sure what I can do, but happy to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it was good. Once I got all those things, you know, in place and figured it all out, it was good. I could immerse myself in the learnings then.
Mm-hmm. So then, obviously, kind of making the decision to join. Was there anything else about when you decided to join and what you were trying to achieve when you first got going? I mean, what were your objectives to do it? Obviously, you obviously lost a substantial amount previously, as you've mentioned. So, what was your goal? What were your objectives there when you first started?
I think one was my passion for property. That was definitely a driver. Two, I wasn't able to work over there as an expat wife. You were very limited to what you could and couldn't do. So I wanted to contribute in some way, and I had to come up with how do I do that while, you know, doing something that I like around the hours that I have available. So yeah, and obviously, you know, we had a goal to come home at some point, you know, and finances were a big part of that.
Got it. So how did things change for you? What did you do? I mean, obviously you got to get kind of into the training. So what what did you start? Obviously, just did you treat it like doing a course or going to school or just diving into the training?
I lived and breathed all of it as soon as I could. That's just what I did. And I immersed myself in the community, and I know that everybody says this, but it is a massive part of the whole experience and the whole program is the community. And being so far away and not having that, you know, connection at the live events or going to the dinners or whatever it may be, being able to just jump on and ask a question on you know, the Facebook pages and things like that, where you get answers in an instant, was probably a really big I guess a really big reason why I was able to grow how I did, like and succeed so quickly and understand everything. Because I guess when you're going to live events, it's a totally different world, but you can talk to other people there, but I didn't have that luxury. So being able to have the Facebook groups and ask questions and get answers quickly was definitely a helpful thing to my success.
Absolutely. And you're a bit of a question asker too, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. Never shy away from, if I don't know something, I will just post it up there.
Yep, absolutely. And that's such a good quality to be able to, I mean, that's exactly what we do. It's like, there's no stupid question. The most stupid question is the one you don't ask. So put it up there, put it out there, always find that. So awesome.
We've got so much knowledge out there in the community that why not ask? You know, I think, like, if I can get ahead by asking a question instead of wasting maybe 2 weeks trying to find out on my own.
Yep. And the community loves to help.
Yeah.
Love to help. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, as you've seen, you know, question goes up within a short period of time. You know, 99% of the time, you'll get a stack of answers or recommendations or helpful hints and stuff coming back. So yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So what did you get into then with it? What was the first thing that you did?
So I don't know what order I did them specifically. It was kind of like let's look at what we've got and look for our next deal. So I found a 1970s original house in Townsville. I kind of looked at where we're at and I was like, okay, how am I going to make this work? Being in Jakarta, I can't look at properties in person. It just wasn't an option. So let's just do the best with what I've got, which is I've got a great support network in Townsville. So let's look there. I know the area. And I found a 1970s original little 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom property that I bought online, I guess you could say.
So you kind of went against what Dipnut says is never buy online. You didn't really have a choice, did you?
Well, that's right. And you know, if I didn't buy online, then I couldn't move forward.
Yeah.
So,
no, there was just no alternative, hey?
No.
Yeah. And so going against Dymphna, so I'm not going to, I won't bring that up again, all right? Going against what Dymphna says and buying a house online, how did it turn out for you?
It was actually really good. However, like I said, I did know the area very, very well. I knew what we were looking for, and I had a lot of support in that area. So I found this little 1970s house. I the strategy was to renovate it and then just rent it out, pull out the equity and move on, and just rent it out as a normal 4-bedroom home. I got it for 201. We spent $90,000 on the renovation, which was over budget. Things that I couldn't control not being there, but we increased the value by 140,000, and I got a real estate agent to give me a rental appraisal once it was all done, and it was beautiful and flashy and new, and she gave me a rental appraisal of low 300s per week. And at the time, Airbnb was just kind of, you know, building up within the community, and we were all learning about it, and kind of thought to myself, well, I think this might be a really good strategy to get a little bit more cash flow, because that's what I wanted at the time, was cash flow and to take my equity out and move on. So that's what we did. I decided to post it up on Airbnb, no furniture, no anything, and I posted it up on Airbnb. Thought, oh, surely I'll have a couple of weeks to get my first booking, but it was up for less than 24 hours, and I had a booking for 4 trades, had 4 tradesmen, booked it for 2 days' time or 3 days' time. It was within that week anyway.
So you had 2 days to get it set up and ready for them?
Yeah, from Jakarta.
From Jakarta. Okay, right. So how did you do that? How did that turn out?
So it turned out really well. My mum was amazing, and thank goodness for online shopping. So I was able to get on and get everything that I needed, and my mum picked it up and set it up for me. So that was really good and helpful. But in saying that, those first people that came and stayed were actually turned into regulars. So they came every month after that for a week. Fantastic.
And that kind of got you a good amount of, obviously, cash flow coming in.
Yes, yeah, it did. It was, I think we were taking about $3,000 roughly a month.
Yeah.
On that one. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And your mum is awesome too. I know that I've actually kind of been in contact with a few times when I couldn't get in contact with you, and vice versa. And yeah. So, awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, cool. Fantastic. Well, that's okay. So that's worked out well. So
yeah,
what did you do then from Jakarta?
So at the same time, we had a look at our, you know, Dymphna's very much look at your profile, your property portfolio, and see what you can, you know, change to better those properties. So at the same time as I was doing that one, we took a look at the 2 properties that we already had. So we were able to our PPR, we were able to take away from the real estate agent and manage ourselves, which I think was a saving of $16K a year, roughly, I think. And then our other house, we turned into a rent by the room. It was in a great central location to be able to do that. And that brought us in quite a bit of cash flow as well on that one. So I think that one went from $400 a week up to $810 after expenses were paid.
Awesome. So you're starting to kind of get quite a bit of cash flow coming in now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which is actually your original objective.
It was. Yeah.
Yep. Now, for those of you who don't know, at the time, and there was actually a competition that was run, wasn't there?
There was. And sorry, can I just say?
Go for it.
When you signed up to Ultimate back then, you got a email with the, if you could make an average wage within, I think it was 12 months, Michael?
I think it was 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah.
You would get the cost of the price of the course back.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So at the time, there was a opportunity to say, okay, see what you can do, but if you can, replace. And the average wage at that point, because it's changed over the years, obviously, I think it was 55K per annum, if I remember correctly.
So I took that on as a challenge when that came through to my email box.
You were up for the challenge, were you?
I was up. Yes.
So how did you do?
I did fantastic. We smashed it.
Awesome. So you ended up with over like about 70K cash flow in like about an 18-month period of time, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you totally smashed it within that period of time, and I know that you were in that time. I think you were one of the few people that won the award, got the cost of the course back to you at the time. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. It was so, I don't even know the word, because I'd had so much self-doubt, especially around property investing as a female, that it was just awesome to be able to say, look what I accomplished.
That's sensational. Absolutely sensational. Yeah. Do you want to kind of expand a little bit on that as well, about because you mentioned that as well previously about the different kind of concepts and ideas about women in property when you were growing up?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, my stepdad was quite a successful developer, hotels, motels, service apartments, that kind of thing. And it was, your wife or your partner was just on your arm. I know that sounds really funny, but if you were going to the Master Builders Awards, my mum would go along, but it was never, she was never part of the conversation. She was never invited for her opinion. And he would always say that it's a man's area. You had to be a builder, or you had to have these trades that are predominantly male. Well, back then they were only male. So it was always kind of said that it was a man's, women don't do this. Women can't be successful. You need to be hard. You need to, all of these type of things. And I was saying to you before is that when you join the community and you see all of these powerful, successful, women in real estate, it's amazing, and it really hit home that, I can actually do this, and I don't need permission from someone else.
Absolutely. The whole community is led by a very powerful woman. And if you have a look at the platinum coaches, it's predominantly very powerful women, very independent, very strong-willed, and very determined, and it's fantastic to see. So very cool, very cool. So quite a turnaround, hey?
Was.
And so what did that allow you to do?
So we were then able, with that top up of income, we were able to kind of look at our life and say, right, what do we want? Where do we want to go now? Because we had done our time. We spent 8 years overseas as expats. So we wanted to come home. We wanted to bring our children home, have, experience an Australian childhood. So we were able to sit down and go, right, if we leave and we lose a certain portion of income, well, that's okay, because we've developed this cash flow from property. So we were able to relocate back home, which was fantastic. And then, you know, we didn't have to struggle. So if we did come home, we would have struggled. 3 kids, you know, all the rest of it. And not having a career either. Like I didn't have, before I joined ILRE Real Estate, I was lost as far as what I wanted to do. So having that, that idea of, well, this is what I'm here to do now. I've got, sorry.
It just looked like I got a little bit of a stop, like a,
Oh.
And then you caught up. You caught up.
Right.
Yeah. All good.
And just being able to feel like you have something to contribute to the family. So we were able to relocate home. That was a major life event for us.
Can you describe what that's like? Because I mean, obviously, you're living in Jakarta. Obviously, your family living over there. What was family life like living there? And then how did it change coming back home?
It was great living over there. It was a fantastic experience. However, when your kids are little, it's a great experience. It's a great, you know, immersing yourself in culture, traveling, all that kind of stuff. But coming home and your kids not kind of knowing how to go camping, or, you know, and the communication between them and their peers here in Australia, because they've got such different lives, they were so disconnected. So being able to bring them home and have, you know, having freedom.
Oh, hey, it looks like Natasha has dropped off. It sounds like they've had a little bit of technical issues right in the middle of a very important point. So hopefully she'll be able to jump back on very, very soon. What are we into? We're about 1:30. Just out of interest, for those of you listening, can you, while we wait for Natasha to come back on, and I'm hoping that won't be too long, can you type in and let us know how have you, is this kind of like, are you learning something from this? Are you getting something out of it? Really love to hear back from you while we sit here waiting for Natasha to come back on. That's a bit of a, you know, a technical issue. Can't do too much while Natasha is not here. Hopefully she'll come back on very, very soon. But let us know. Type in. Kerry said encouraging from Facebook. Thanks, Kerry. Thanks for doing that. It's a pretty amazing story. It really is. Suze, great experience, a student's journey. Yeah, it is. Alyssa, this is great. Very encouraging. Alyssa, yep, awesome. Good on you, Michael. Thank you. No problems. To be honest, I haven't used ILRE Alyssa as much as I should. Yep. Kerry, well, it's. I'm glad you're on here and you've realized that. So it's, you know, yep, get out there and use it. And as well as the community. Natasha's been very kind of, let me just see if she's come back on. I can't even see if she's here or not. Oh, here she is. I've just got to make her a co-host and she can come back on. And Natasha, I think you have to unmute. But what I was just saying is utilize the community. Natasha's been really strong in actually promoting how valuable the community is. And, you know, for someone overseas with a difficulty in, you know, being able to go to a live event here and interacting, it really is. What else have we got here? Andy, this is very encouraging and inspiring to hear, especially given her situation of being overseas. Yeah, totally, Andy. Natasha, are you back? You're back.
I am sorry, technical difficulties.
Oh, no problems. No, you're here. It's like we're having a good chat. We're just kind of like going over a couple of points. There's a couple of people that have found it really encouraging and really inspiring, your story. So
oh, great.
Yeah, it's been really good. One question was, how long has Natasha been in the community for? Was it 2015, 16, or when was that?
I think 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, around there. Let's say around there.
Yeah, around there somewhere.
Now, you were right in the middle of talking as well, but you're describing about when coming back to Australia and what it was like for the kids to reorient.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what we wanted, was for the kids to be able to come back and experience Australian lifestyle, basically, and family. We were away from family for 8 years. So they were lacking connections with family as well. So that was the point of coming home. So at the time that we said we'll come home, we were determined by Zane's work to go to Perth, which isn't home for us. Queensland is home. But we went, and 12 months into that, we had done another deal. It was we found a dual lot single title, and we were able to then really decide, with that cash flow coming in, we were really able to decide and sit down and say, right, where do we really want to be? Which was important because over in WA, we were close to some family, but far away from other family. And we were able to make the decision for our family with no restrictions on, finances or anything. So now we live where we want to live. We're doing what we want to do. And yeah.
Fantastic, hey? Change, quite a change. And now there's one other thing that occurred at this point in time. Well, it looks like your phone dropped. Is that a phone?
It is.
Yeah.
I was on my computer before and it's died.
The phone's actually pretty good reception. Can you try turning it to landscape mode rather than?
Sure.
That's better. Yeah, that's better. Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I wanted to find out, because as a consequence of you, and this is really important at the moment because we have the ILRE Real Estate Super Conference coming up at the end of the year. And just this week, we've also announced that it's time to put your stories in. And now you've done all of this, these deals from overseas. You've managed to get back over here. You've done all this stuff, and in a very short period of time, you've also won the award of replacing $55,000 worth of income in 18 months. And then you put your story into the Super Conference competition, didn't you?
I did.
And tell me what happened then.
Well, I got to speak on stage with Dee, which was amazing because I think I had said to you previously, I see myself on the stage with Dipnut one day. And so when I was invited to tell my story in the final 12, I was over the moon just to be able to share with other people. And my main goal for that was that everybody experiences, it's not easy for everybody and you're not alone. And then, I got to tell my story. And I came third.
You did come third.
I did.
And what did you win? I know one thing you won. I can't remember what the other one was. You got a big prize.
I did. I won a holiday. And I won a platinum membership for 12 months.
Fantastic. Well done.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah. And that was that a bit of a surprise?
It was a total surprise. Like, there were so many amazing stories on the day or over the weekend that I really, really didn't think I was going to win, because even though my story, we had a lot of, we were able to change our lives so drastically on our own terms, but there were people there that had, gone from zero to, $50 million in projects in, overnight almost, but it's not always about that. It's about, the community and to what people can relate to as well, and what they pick up from a story. So apparently that weekend, you know, I helped a lot of people, and that's what it's all about.
Giving back.
That's it.
Yeah. No, fantastic. That was awesome. And for those of you who haven't seen it as yet, if you have a look at the previous I Love Real Estate Super Conferences, you can see a lot of those stories that are up there. And your story is up there as well. The full, I think it's about half an hour when you're on stage. So, and you just mentioned as well. Just want to check on that. Did you like do a peg in the sand, or did you write down that you wanted to speak on stage with Dipnut?
Yeah, I did. And she actually signed in my book. I got her to sign in my book, Welcome to Platinum. And that was, I think it might have been at a 2-day boot camp in WA. And I got her to write in my book, Welcome to Platinum.
But you hadn't joined Platinum?
No.
But that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah. And
then you won it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the goosebumpy things. Do you get the goosebumps?
It is.
I don't know. Is anyone else getting the goosebumps? You know, it's like, you know, getting Dipnut. Hey, Dipnut, I want you to sign the book. What did you say? You want did and
I still have it to this day.
What did Dipnut say when you said that? Do you remember?
Well, she kind of, I don't think she really said anything. She just wrote it and signed it, and you know, she's yeah. But I think, and I was saying to you earlier, it's the whole experience around the I Love Real Estate as well. Like, and I'm sure everybody that's part of the community will agree. It's the whole work on yourself as a whole, rather than just focusing on, you know, property investment. And that's given me the ability to move forward in other areas in my life that, you know, if I hadn't been part of the community or done the work, you know, in the program, that I would never be where I am today, for sure. But to have the belief in myself to do the stuff that I'm doing is, you know, far outweighs anything else that I could ever imagine, you know.
Totally. And then you then actually did Platinum for a year.
I did.
And you worked with Melissa Fisher, yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you want to kind of share a little bit about what Platinum, your Platinum experience?
Yeah, I was going to sign up to Platinum that year anyway. It was just a bonus that I won it. And I think the one thing about Platinum is that it makes you accountable, and it really pushes you to do well, to do the work, to work on yourself, to really dig deep into what you want and the learnings. Like, I think that to do Platinum, it's well worth it. Like, it's going to get you where you want to go very quickly. However, you've got to be committed, and you've got to do the work. Got to show up.
You've got to step up. We've got to show up. You got to put it in. Yep. Awesome.
But it's just a progression too from the other courses, or, you know, another step up, and to have somebody there that you're accountable to 24/7 pretty much is amazing. And, you know, I know that a lot of people say, oh, they don't need Platinum, and I don't need the 24/7 help, but it helps. It helps even if you're a self-starter or somebody that doesn't really need the kick up the arse. There is so much knowledge in the coaches, and every single one of them, that, you know, anybody can, even if you take away one little piece of information, or, you know, that helps you save a couple of dollars here or there, or you get your deal done quicker, or
Awesome. Was there something like how did kind of like working with Mel affect you from obviously from being a woman in property and having someone like Melissa who's also there in property doing phenomenally well? How did that did that rub off for you? How did that have an impact on you?
Yeah, it did. And I couldn't have asked for a better coach in the way that, you know, Mel was really a good fit for me at the time. I wanted to look at doing commercials, so that was a bonus. And she really gave me that kick up the arse without being apologetic about it, which is what, you know, I needed. And I still was seeing waves of self-doubt. You know, I can't do this. And she was really helpful in that way. Like, she would help me get through those waves of non-belief, I guess. Yeah, so, but I mean, her knowledge and the things that she was doing were just amazing, you know. And for somebody who was always told that it's not a woman's world, I'll tell you one thing: she has everything in property. Like, what she doesn't know is probably not worth knowing. And she's just smashing it, and it was great for me to be able to, you know, really see women in charge.
Yeah. Awesome. So good to hear. Fantastic. I'm just looking, checking. I've got Zoom chats here. I've got Facebook chats over there. Just checking on. And I wanted to thank everyone for the responses as well. When you dropped out, there was a lot of positive kind of feedback coming back, which was very much appreciated. So, so awesome, excellent. Yes, platinum. Yeah, it's a different level, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Cool.
And I think I do get a lot of questions from people that want to join platinum and ask if it's worthwhile. It's only worthwhile if you're committed. And if you've done the other work. A lot of people want to jump straight in. But yeah, I think with platinum, if you're committed, you are going to just smash it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's the attitude. There's an attitude in there that just kicks things along, and it just gels. Yeah, that you see. Yeah. Awesome. Now we've got to get a bit of a question here, Matt. I think from Victoria. Sorry, what is it? Matt says, well done, inspiring. Michael, is there examples of your video from previous years on the website? Yes, there are. It's under the I Love. Actually, there's two places you can find recordings. One of them is in the previous I Love Real Estate Super Conferences, and all of those are under the archive section of the website. The other one is, which is a little bit easier, is to go to the iloverealestate.tv website. That's the public website, and click onto success stories, and you'll find Natasha's there along with a whole lot of other success stories. So there's two places there. The one in the website has more, but the public one is a little bit easier to find. Now, Craig was asking, so when you went from Ultimate to Platinum, did you feel you missed out on any of the Quantum Advanced training?
I had been Quantum. It took me a week to sign up from Ultimate to Quantum.
A whole week?
Yeah. I didn't want to miss out on anything. You know, I was saying before that when I attended that 2-hour free webinar, you know, introducing the whole program, I was like, where do I sign? And then learned about Quantum, and I was like, yep, I'm in. What else can I do? I don't want to miss anything, you know. So no, so I did all of that. I did the Ultimate and the Quantum and immersed myself in that before I jumped up to Platinum.
Yeah, awesome. And then the question from Sarasa was saying, did you join Platinum after your return from overseas?
Yes. So I was living in WA when I won that.
Yep, excellent. And one other thing that when you were in platinum, you wanted to share what happened when you couldn't attend one of the monthly meetings, because they have monthly meetings every month and you're supposed to be there, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. So accountability is massive. We had some students were driving for over an hour to come to the monthly meeting. Like, it's you have to show up. And I couldn't go for some reason, sick kid, or I don't actually remember, but it was a worthwhile reason. It wasn't like I'm just wagging the class. And I text Mel and I said, look, I can't make it today. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Well, I felt sick. I felt like I was going to vomit. I was so angry at myself that I couldn't go, because I was so committed to turning up to everything that I could and really, really immersing myself into this year experience, because it only goes for a year, and I wanted to get everything I could out of it. And so I felt so bad in myself that I couldn't attend. And and I think that's just a mindset that you have to have, that when you really want to do well in platinum, that you need to show up every single time, unless you're really, really can't. But yeah, I felt horrible for until the next monthly meeting when I walked into the room and I was like, I'm here.
I've been bad, but I'm back.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to say that's while that's it's a bit of an intense kind of response to it, I love the attitude that you want to get. You want to get the most out of that opportunity, because it's a short term. It's 12 months, and I've got to say as well, it's there was another student that I had a chat with, Dan, and he used to drive, I think it was like 800 kilometers to and from, and he used to, but the interesting thing is that commitment to coming along. It was interesting that because of that dedication, the amount of change that occurred for them personally also was at a high level. They were pushing themselves to that level, and they're also, reaping the rewards of changing themselves as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the same for you in regards to how you approached it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was being given a gift, right? That's what it was, and that's how I looked at it, is that I'm being given this gift that I don't know how many hundreds of other people would love this. Like, what am I going to do with it? I'm not just going to, take it and, I really, really wanted to put my whole self in there, because I wasn't going to waste it.
Yeah, awesome. So now, as a consequence of kind of where you're at, you're now kind of getting into doing a little bit more of your own stuff now, aren't you, in the area of businesses? Is this right?
Yeah. So a lot of my growth over the time that I've been with the I Love Real Estate community has been probably on myself. It's been a lot of work on myself, which has got me to a point where I believe that I can do things. And yeah, so I'm building an empire of businesses, which will in turn give me the time and financial backing to be able to do property and other things that I want to move forward and do. So
awesome.
But I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for all of the learnings. And I don't just mean the property side of it. I think there's so many more aspects to the whole program, and the experts that Dee brings on, and whether they're spiritual people or mindset people, or and the super conference was, you know, that was a massive life event for me. Like just what you learn and the whole vibe and people that are up on the stage and people that Dee brings in to talk, and it was just out of this world for me. Like it was, I like I said to you before, I don't even have a word that describes it. It was that life-changing for me. And I wouldn't believe in myself to be able to do what I want to do now if I hadn't had access to all of this outside stuff.
Yep. Oh, so nice to hear. So nice to hear. Awesome. Awesome. So how is your life different now to when you first started?
Well, I was living in a third world country with really bad internet and living with security guards at my gate. Now we live where we want to live on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. I have connections with quite a few people in the community that are like-minded, high vibrational beings, and we get to live life on our terms, you know, like we're still doing property deals, we're you know, still looking for property deals, we're building an empire of businesses, and like I said, we wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise.
Totally.
So
totally.
it's totally different now to what it was.
Awesome. Now, there's just a few kind of questions that have come through here. Let me just double check on a few. Suze was saying, missed the start of the session, is the context of Natasha is working is Airbnb. It's not really Airbnb. Or actually, no, you have done something along those lines, haven't you?
Yeah, so when we first moved back to WA to pick up a little bit more cash flow, I was managing other people's properties as Airbnbs. So I did do that for a little while, which gave us, you know, a good chunk of cash flow coming in. But it's not all that we did.
Yeah. Okay. So that's just another kind of branching out into the business area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, Andy says, hi, Natasha, you mentioned that your story that you were able to save 16K from managing your PPA yourself. Did I hear that correctly?
6, I think it was.
Oh, 6.
Yeah.
Andy, it was 6, not 16. Okay. Awesome. iPad Dino says, great attitude for you. Chai, Natasha, do you do this property journey yourself or with your partner?
It's funny, I say we all the time, but it's really just me. He just signs loan documents when I need him to. Zane's not interested in property. He's, you know, he has his own thing that he's passionate about. Property is what I'm passionate about. He supports me and we do it together. But yeah. Got it.
You got a good working arrangement there.
Yeah.
To sign those documents when needed.
Yeah.
Cool. What has Sue said? Oh, I'm looking forward to a live conference too. I think that in-person experience would be a supercharger. It's a one thing we were discussing before coming on as well, and that is that for those of you who've joined recently, you're probably going to miss out on a lot of the live events. And it's kind of been really frustrating, and it would be we can't wait to have the big physical events where we're all there together. And one of these super conferences, initially, what we found was that when a lot of the community connect online via Facebook and other means, they connect and they see things just online. And then when they come along to an event like a super conference, they're like going, hang on a minute. They're looking at a name going, hey, you're so-and-so who does this. And suddenly there's this whole light bulb moments of connections occurring. And we're hanging out for that. We would love that to occur. And I'm not too sure how the super conference is going to be run this year. Ideally, more people, the merrier. But however we're going to do, we're going to make it work out. So yeah.
And it is. Can I just say that when I was able to go to a big live event, and I'm pretty sure the super conference was the first one I went to, it was mind-blowing.
That super conference, that was only your second event.
Correct.
So for those of you who don't know, like obviously Natasha's been overseas, doing everything overseas and getting herself back here. You only went earlier to a boot camp, was that right?
Yeah. So the boot camp, and then the super conference, and then Millionaire Within, and I think that's all the live events I've been to.
Wow. And you did the Millionaire Within after the super conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was another mind-blowing event too.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Awesome. Now, is there anything you wanted to mention on that side of things, on the whole holistic side, kind of, because you've kind of gone down this avenue a little bit, haven't you, of a lot more on the self-development side of things, which you found from the community?
I did. And I never really, I was always a very numbers, orientated person. If it wasn't there in front of me, it didn't exist. And I didn't really do a lot of self-development as such until I joined the community. And I think that, on a spiritual level, on a, self-love level, that I think is the biggest thing I got from I Love Real Estate, is that all of these people that Dee brings in, that give, and the community give you permission to find this higher self, I guess, and to work on yourself. And I think that's probably, for me, is the biggest thing, is the positivity and the self-development side of it all.
Absolutely. Yeah, awesome. It's a lot of people are in a similar way with that as well. They don't realize it until they get into it. And suddenly Dipnut says, come along to the Real Estate Millionaire Within. You'd be good for that.
Yeah.
And they come along and they go, oh, what am I doing here?
Yeah. And it's just amazing. Like the benefits I gained on a emotional, spiritual level since joining have well outweighed anything else that I've learned. And it's great, focusing on property and getting a blueprint to how to invest well. But if you don't have that the self, help me out here, Michael, what
the self-belief. Yep.
Yeah, self-belief to be able to do those things, and routines around life practices and self-love and all those kind of things, then something's always going to come up and block what you're trying to achieve.
Totally. Yeah. It's a real it's a stability, isn't it? It's a stability and a confidence in your own knowingness, in your own decision-making process. And and it does, it kind of it gets wrapped around with this being worthy of being able to do so as well.
Yep, for sure.
Cool. Now just checking up on the Zoom things here as well. Susan's looking forward to the Supercharge experience for the Super Conference. Yes. Craig is saying, I'm still waiting for my first live event. Joined in February last year, 2020. Then COVID closed everything down. And you're in Sydney, Craig. Well, Craig, I'm in Melbourne, we're winning as opposed to lockdowns at the moment, but I feel for you, man. And I hope we can get these things opening up. And Natasha, now you're in Queensland. You're still living, kind of free and easy, kind of, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. We're pretty lucky. Pretty lucky up here.
Queensland.
We hope to be able to welcome you all up for the super conference though. And the people that have not been at a live event are going to be absolutely blown away.
Totally, yeah. And the super conference, it's just, it's the best. It's the best. It's a party of the year. It's a celebration of success. It's Dymphna has two favorite events. One of them is a Real Estate Millionaire Within. It's all the spiritual journey. It's the mindset. It's really kind of delving into that whole area, which is just, there's nothing else. Even though it's a Real Estate Millionaire Within, real estate isn't really kind of involved in that event, but it's all mindset orientated. And the second one is the Super Conference, and that is super inspirational. You've got amazing speakers that come on that share their journey, and you've also got a number of the students, just like Natasha has done today and also has done previously, sharing her story of what she's done and how she's achieved that as well. And that's usually we have about maybe 12, but sometimes up to 16 students share their story. And if you've got a story to share it now, because it's just opened up as well. Dipnut's just opened that up. So awesome. Sven was asking, are you selling exhaust systems in your spare time?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's one of our businesses that we're getting up and running now. We've owned it for 3 months, a mechanic shop up here in Noosa. And yeah, that's one to add to the list. We're just getting it up and ready to run itself.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Fantastic. Suze was saying, I joined in February too. Tassie is free, just no live events here. Suze, yep. Oh.
That's because nobody can get there, so.
No one can get there, yeah. And now, Tabitha was asking, sorry, I missed the start, but did Natasha do remote renos from Jakarta? I'd love to hear some of the tips about how to manage your remote. The answer is, Tabitha, yes. Natasha was living with her family in Jakarta and then managed to do a lot of deals from there. But go back and check out the review, unless you want to add anything, Natasha.
No.
It's all. I think we covered most of it. Yeah. Check out the review, or just rewatch it. Lou was saying, does anyone stay at the same accommodation for the super conference? So the answer to that one is no. You need to work out your own accommodation. It's not like a, kumbaya, my lord. We're not. It's not to that extreme, right? It's just like there's an event that occurs. It's over 3 days. We all go there. We all have a fantastic time, and obviously you work out your own accommodation and all that kind of stuff. And you obviously need to get your own travel there as well. I don't believe the openings and the registrations for that is open at the moment. It's still a fair way away. So watch out for that. The only thing that's open at the moment is for you to put in your success story right now, which you can do, and that's opened.
Can I add something, Michael?
Yeah, of course. You already have, but go ahead. Go and add more. Go on.
Just to everybody out there thinking about whether they should put their story forward or not, do it, because people, I didn't think that my story was overly exciting, or if anybody would really take much away from my story before I put it forward. But there is so many people out there going through the exact same thing as everybody, that may be able to pick up just one thing from your story. You might be able to just help one person out, and that's worth it every day of the week.
So true. And speaking with other students who've done it, they kind of go, I just thought I was doing normal. And then suddenly when I shared it, I realized, actually, I've done pretty well.
Yeah. And it might just be that one little nudge that somebody needs to actually put something into action as well.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing how you don't realize how much you can impact somebody until you let it out.
Yeah.
And you share what you've done. you share your story, and then suddenly somebody else will go, oh, that's just, thank you for sharing that, because that crystallizes something for me, and it goes on from there. Awesome. Yeah. Tabitha was saying, is camping on Dipnut's land an option for super conference? I don't think so, Tabitha.
Nice try,
I don't think so. That's a very good try. That's a very good try. Yep, indeed. That'd be a great place to camp too. Is a super conference always in Brisbane? Sasa, they used to be in every major city, Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. At the moment, they're in the Sunshine Coast. But more information about that is coming out. So I know you're keen to book in. Hang on, put your stories in first. Okay, Natasha, is there anything else you want to end off? Thank you so much for sharing. It's been really super insightful. And for everyone here, how have you found? Have you found this to be encouraging for yourself? Have you found it to be insightful? Please let us know now, either here or on Facebook. We'd love to hear back, and I'm sure Natasha would really appreciate that as well. Thank you. Thank you, Natasha, for sharing. Great to have a chat. Great for you to share. And looking forward to hearing how that empire building is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
We are staying tuned. I'm staying tuned. What have we got there? Chai says, love the attitude. Sarasa, amazing lady. Thanks, Andy. Michael, these interviews with other students are fantastic. Yeah, they are, Andy. Awesome. Glad you're getting something out of them too. Eugene, thanks for sharing your story, Natasha. Excellent. And then we've got thanks, Natasha and Michael. That's from Tabitha on Facebook as well. So, okay, everybody, we'll probably end it off there. Thank you for joining us for this lunchtime insight into the life of Natasha and her story and what she's been able to create and do a phenomenal job of being able to bring her family home from Jakarta, and then go on to, creating more businesses and doing exceptionally well. And we're really looking forward to seeing what you do. Natasha, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for your kind words, and go kick some goals.
Totally. All right. We'll end off there. Thank you so much, Natasha. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Have a fantastic Friday afternoon. Go well over the weekend, joining in on commercial, and we'll catch everyone later. Thanks, Natasha. Ciao.
See you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.